All right, excuse me a little bit because I just woke up, so I'm kind of like still a little groggy, and my voice is different, and I'm in the middle of eating. But I was watching this video, and I had to say something about it. Every player that becomes a free agent, great players, becomes a free agent, or it is likely that they're going to get traded from their current situation. For some reason this year, every team, well, no, for the past couple of years, every team's going to the Lakers. I mean, every player's going to the Lakers. You know, they said that about Kawhi. They said Paul George was going to end up there. They said Russell Westbrook was going to end up there. They said possibly KD or Kyrie was going to end up there. Right? Now they're talking about Damian Lillard. Somebody even said that they were talking about Steph Curry. All these, and now DeMar DeRozan. Why would the Spurs accept a trade for to receive Kyle Kuzma and give them DeMar DeRozan? Even at DeMar DeRozan's age, he is still far more productive than Kyle Kuzma. Why? Why would he do that? Why would they do that? So, apparently everybody's going to the Lakers, man. They're going to have an all-star lineup. It's going to be crazy, right? So, let's hear what they got to say, man.
Posted an offseason trade idea for every NBA team, and the one for the Spurs actually raised some eyebrows for the receiving team, the Lakers. The Spurs would sign and trade DeMar DeRozan in exchange for Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, and the 22nd overall pick. Shannon, if you were the Lakers, would you do this deal?
No. Listen, if I'm the Lakers, I'm doing it. If I can get it, I'm doing it. But if I'm the Spurs, is the 27th pick and Kyle Kuzma really worth giving up DeRozan? And now the Spurs are in a spot where they're not the worst team in the league, but they're also not a playoff team. So it's like, they're hovering around mediocrity. They're not good enough to lose a lot. I mean, they're not bad enough to lose enough so they can get a top 5 pick or a top 10 pick. But they're also not good enough that they can make the playoffs to possibly make a run. So it's like, is Kuzma going to get you over the top? Because if I'm them, I'm trading DeRozan, but I want picks. I want maybe 2 picks. Maybe a pick in the middle of the first round this year, and then 3 years from now, another first round. I need investment. I need to be able to improve my team. And wherever you send DeRozan, you need to make, because he's still productive. DeRozan is still going to get you a solid 15 to 20 points, on average. He's going to get you somewhere around there. And he's a really good defender. And his game is a very safe game. This is why DeMar DeRozan has never been one of the more popular players in the NBA, even though I used to think that he was underrated in Toronto because his game is not popular. He's a mid-range shooter. He's a dunker, finisher at the rim. He really doesn't shoot the 3 ball too often, and he's a really solid defender. He's an effort guy. But for some reason, his game isn't popular, so he doesn't get acknowledged like that.
Kyle Kuzma for J. Cole. Nat King Cole album or a pair of Cole Haan shoes. You ask me anything about Kyle Kuzma.
Cole Haans are pretty good.
Yeah. I'll let Kyle Kuzma go for a pair. The bubble ones, the air with the air like the Nike shoes, because Nike bought Cole Haan. Yeah. Skip, I would really hate to see Trez, because I like Trez. Because the one thing I know about Trez, I know what I'm going to get. If you let him play his 25, 27 minutes, he's going to...
I didn't notice that they also threw Montrezl Harrell in there. Maybe, but it depends. Am I getting Clippers Montrezl Harrell or am I getting Lakers Montrezl Harrell? Because there's a difference. there's a major difference, because Harrell on the Clippers he was a beast, man. He was a beast. He was a very underrated beast, and he just wasn't the same guy in LA. And let me say this: this is what LeBron does. Like, people, they act like when you say bad things about LeBron, or when you say counter positive things about LeBron, not necessarily negative, but just not overly positive things about LeBron, you're a hater. Everything you say negative about anybody that doesn't come off in a positive light, you're a hater. Instead of just being a critic, you're a hater. You know, and I hate that shit, because it's like, sometimes you're not hating. Sometimes it's just honest criticism. The world needs honest criticism, man. I can't tell you how many times I've been criticized for something that I've done, or for an action that I've been taking repeatedly, where criticism is introduced and I'm able to curb the behavior, and it works out. So it's like, anytime you criticize somebody, it's considered hate. That's ridiculous, right? So when LeBron got to LA, all right, Kuzma was coming off a solid rookie season. Lonzo Ball was coming off of a so-so season, but it wasn't because of him. It was because of Luke Walton, and Luke Walton refusing to play him. But when Lonzo was on the floor, man, Lonzo was a solid player. He had the offense going. They were running smooth. He was the guy. He was the facilitator. He was the Jason Kidd that people were talking about. But whenever they would take him off the floor, like I said before, like, it's like they didn't know which way was up, right? So you bring in LeBron, and LeBron's play style alienates his teammates. I've said this before. It alienates his teammates. He forces everybody to be around the perimeter while he does his little moves, and then when the defense collapses on him, or if they provide an opening, he's going to dish it out to you at the 3-point line. You better make the shot. Like, that's what you're reduced to, and you have to play defense, because LeBron does not play defense anymore. So you have to cover the slack that he is leaving behind. LeBron literally, he's like a free safety out there. He'll stand around. He'll probably be guarding the worst 3-point shooter, unless his team really needs him to play defense. And then LeBron, I believe he can play defense. It's just he only play it under like really serious circumstances where they need to win the game. Okay, but most of the time, like, he's not really doing much, and they're almost like in this zone kind of shit where it's like you have to be able to pay attention to two people at the same time while he's doing whatever the fuck he's doing. I mean, people talk about James Harden and how bad he was playing defense in Houston. LeBron was worse. Like, LeBron was, like, it felt intentional. I just thought James Harden didn't have, like, he just wasn't a good defender, you know? And when he actually started playing defense better, I thought that he was putting more effort into it at trying to improve. But LeBron has proven that he was a great defender. And he just stopped playing it. He saved all his energy for the offense. That's why he could put up those gaudy numbers.
Give you somewhere between 16 and 7. That's what he's going to give you. He's going to give you all out effort every single night. No questions asked. Kyle Kuzma, I don't know what the hell I'm going to get. I might get 22. I might get 11. But one thing I know for certain, I'm going to get some idiotic, some low IQ basketball plays on a nightly basis. So for me, all things being equal, would I prefer to have Steph? Would I prefer to have Dame?
To say that man makes idiotic plays, I think is disrespectful, because he's still a young player. And the reason why I say it's disrespectful is because we got to think about what happened. Kyle Kuzma showed incredible potential his rookie year. Entering his second year, now you got LeBron on your team. It changes the course of your career. I keep saying this, and it's very fucking true. Now, you got some guys like a Richard Jefferson or a Channing Frye or some other bullshit bench player, right, that'll come out and say, well, LeBron was a great teammate. He was a great team. I don't know what people are talking about. And that's because Richard Jefferson was close to being fucking retired. Okay? Him standing in the corner shooting threes is probably the best job for him late in his career. Channing Frye was the same thing. He was at the end of the bench. End of the fucking bench. But because he could shoot the three ball, because earlier in Channing Frye's career, big men weren't shooting threes as much as they were around the 2010s. You know, now around 2010s, now it's popular to shoot threes now. You know, so he became a little more valuable. You know, and so playing LeBron James style of basketball, it afforded him opportunities to not have to move around much. Just all you got to do is just sit at the 3-point line. They're going to leave you alone because they don't think that you can do shit. I'll pass you the ball, you knock down a shot, and that's it. So you're going to have those teammates that defend them. But you got to understand the context and why they're defending them and where they're at in their career. How many great players, and Kyrie doesn't count. Kyrie, I don't know what the fuck is wrong with that guy. I mean, Kyrie has... Kyrie, I don't know, man. I think it's like multiple people swimming around in that brain of his, man. Because at one point he hate LeBron. Then he plays in Boston. It doesn't go according to plan. Now he loves LeBron again. Now I don't know if he loves or hate LeBron anymore because, you know... like, I mean, you never know where he is. You never know mentally where he's at. So it's like a toss-up. But other than that, man, like, you never know. And D-Wade saw the issues that LeBron had early on in Miami. And this is why I say D-Wade was a great leader. He was a great leader because he understood what LeBron needed. You know, after that first run in Miami, he understood. So he let LeBron take over. He sat back, let LeBron do his thing, and LeBron had his arguably greatest season we've ever seen him have in 2012. So,
Bradley Beal, a shooter, sure, but I'll take DeMar DeRozan. I'll be willing to part ways with that package to get DeMar DeRozan, a guy that initiated a lot of the Spurs offense last year, a guy that can go get his own shot. Now, he's not the shooter. He's not a three-point guy. He's a mid-range guy and get into the lane. But what the Lakers need, Skip, is someone that does not have to be spoon-fed by LeBron all the time. Because most of the guys...
The LeBron James system, and this is why I wanted to do this fucking video, is because of that shit he just said. The way LeBron James plays basketball, he has to spoon-feed people. Unless he's not on the floor anymore. But when he's on the floor, he has the ball in his hands 97% of the time. Like, it's in his hands. So it's not like... It's not like, you know, he's forced to do this because his teammates don't know what to do. That's the way he plays basketball. That's the way he plays. The ball is in his hands. So, of course, he has to spoon feed people because how else are they going to get going unless you let go of the ball and let them take over some responsibility? And that's the LeBron James' problem. He gives them very little responsibility and then gets mad at them when they can't contribute more. Like, it's ridiculous.
On this roster needs to be spoon-fed or else they're not going to eat. Yeah. So the Lakers need somebody like a...
That's very dismissive of their ability to play the fucking game. And I'm pretty sure that's the way LeBron is looking at it. Like, that's a very dismissive way of looking at your teammates. Like, oh, I have to do this because they won't be able to get it without me. Like, bullshit, bro. D-Wade was getting it without him. Chris Bosh was getting it without him. Kyrie was getting it without him. Now, whether they were winning or not, that's a different story, but they can get theirs. They can get theirs. Kuzma was getting it without him. Harrell was getting it without him. Davis was damn sure getting it without him. So it's not like he... It's not like he is the guy that's gonna like he's fucking Mother Teresa or some shit, coming in with a basket full of biscuits or some shit and feeding everybody. That's not the case. He's taking everybody's plate and he's forcing people to eat out of his fucking bowl. Like, that's what he's doing. Come on, man.
Rosen that can create for others. He can go get his own shot, and he's tough. He can defend. He can defend also. So I like it. All things being equal. But I'll be willing. I think the Lakers are to the point now. We've seen what Kuzma is. The guy stayed 4 years of college. Really great. The great players, they don't stay 4 years. He's at his ceiling. I don't believe he's going. Now, he can get better on a bad team. But I'm talking about playing winning basketball on a championship caliber winning team. I believe he's plateaued. I believe we've seen the best that we're going to see from him. And for an opportunity to get DeMar DeRozan, absolutely. Now, I'm not saying I would take DeRozan over those other three guys, but if that's the only thing that's presented to us, Absolutely. But Kuzma needs to go.
Kuzma needs to go.
Yeah.
So I'm going to speak for a team that I've loved for many, many years, the San Antonio Spurs. So
That I don't talk about anymore because Kawhi Leonard is in there and they haven't won since he left.
I'm going to go we on you.
Okay.
We do not want Montrezl Harrell. He does not fit in our culture. I'm sorry.
Okay, y'all move
that's
him.
over. And
That's what I'm saying. Like, if you're getting Montrez from the Clippers, hell yeah, man. I mean, you're talking about a solid 15 and 15 or possibly 20 and 15 every night. I mean, shit, sometimes he might go off and give you 25 to 30. But you're talking about a solid 15 to 20 and 15 or 10 to 15 every single night. Of course you would take that. But Harrell on the Lakers is a different story. I don't know if he's worth it.
out.
Well, move him then.
Well, we would like Kuzma, THT,
Oh, no, stop it.
and
Steffi.
KC3 in a
No,
sign and
no,
trade. It's going
no.
to be, remember, DeMar DeRozan's about to be unrestricted, so this is a sign
You're
and
not
trade.
getting THT.
We want Kuzma, THT, and KC3. That's who we want. We
No,
want those
you're-
three
see,
for DeMar
You
DeRozan.
greedy. That's
And still at least another draft pick, man. Like, at least another, like, DeRozan is worth it. Like, and the Lakers are desperate. They need more significant talent on the team, so they're desperate. So you can ask for as much as you want. You know,
not what we offered you.
Well, this is just some website proposal.
Okay, well then see now you go and see. I try to bring you a nice trade.
Yeah.
I say Spurs. Here, this is what I have to offer.
Well, this was our superstar. This was our big.
Y'all don't want him.
This was our new Kawhi, right?
Do you still want him?
Do we still want it?
Yes.
Well, we've missed the playoffs the last couple
Okay,
of
then
years.
see.
so-
Okay, well,
Yep.
that's what take the Kuz and
Okay.
the 22nd pick.
And by the way, I'm going to remind you, as you pointed out, and remind those out in TV land, that this man, over the last 3 years with the Spurs, shot 23% from three. Now, he didn't take that many, but if you look at the 365 players over the last 3 years who attempted at least 150 threes, he is dead last
Yeah.
in the NBA. Dead last
Yeah.
at 23%. Yikes.
but the 3-point shot has never been his game. So to judge him on the 3-point shot and the 3-point shot alone is doing him a disservice. Now, at one point I can think of in DeRozan's career, was he a top 10, top 15 3-point shooter? He might have been top 15, but I don't know if he was top 10 in 3-point shooting because he's never been a 3-point shooter. He was always a slasher. This is what DeRozan is. He is what D Wade was when D Wade first got to the league. He was a slasher. He was an effort guy. But D Wade slowly evolved into something greater, and DeRozan kind of stayed as the slasher. So you can't really judge him on the 3-pointers because that's not where his game relies. That's not what his game relies on. Now, if you're talking about Steph Curry shooting 23% from the 3-point line, that's a different story. Now you're talking about a guy whose game is primarily 3-point shooting that bad from the 3-point line, and that's a better judgment. That's a better way to delineate how effective he is, because that's never been DeRozan's game.
But that's why you should be. You know what? With that being said, you should be willing to take. You shouldn't ask for anything
He's
more.
an all-star. He's a 4-time all-star, and he was our driving force. And he did impress me with some of his
Yes.
shot creating and
Yes.
late game clutch shot
Oh, he
making.
clutched.
Let me say this about DeMar DeRozan, and I consider myself to be a vivid supporter of DeMar DeRozan because I've been watching him for years. I've been a Celtics fan for as long as I can remember. So going up against the Toronto Raptors, I feel like I have a good enough assessment of DeMar DeRozan. DeMar DeRozan is an all-star caliber player. But sometimes you have those all-star caliber players in eras where you have great players, but that all-star caliber player can only do so much. He has to be the second or third or fourth option on a championship winning team. He cannot be the guy, and it cannot just be him because he won't lead. That's for most people. He won't lead them to a title. Sometimes you need a group of people. This is why basketball is a team sport. Now, you do have those teams where one guy can literally take over an entire game and will his team to wins. Jordan did it for years. But how many Michael Jordans have we seen in the course of the history of the NBA? Some people could throw LeBron in there as a guy that could really will his team to wins. But you don't see it often. You don't see it often. Sometimes you need a situation like Larry Bird and Magic Johnson going to the Lakers and the Celtics and pretty much being paired up with a bunch of lottery picks. Like sometimes sometimes you can win if you have the right player. But most of the time you need the team to win, and he's just one of those guys that he needed a better team. Now, Kawhi Leonard. I didn't throw Kawhi Leonard in there because with the injuries, man, like if he was able to stay healthy and if he could have completed the job with the Clippers as far as getting them to a title, I would have threw Kawhi in there. But Kawhi with the injuries, man, I don't know what the fuck is going on with that. Maybe he has some degenerative gene or some shit where it's like, his body can only take so much, and now his body is starting to wear down. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. But his year in Toronto was a phenomenal season. A phenomenal season. How many times do we see players go to a team that has never won before? Never won before. And win a championship his first and only year there. We've never seen that before. As far as I can remember, we've never seen a guy go to a team, lead them to a title, and then leave. We've never seen that before. So, but I still don't think that's enough of a sample size to put him in a Michael Jordan or LeBron James argument when it comes to being able to will teams to victory. But let's go.
He clutch for real, yeah.
He is.
He makes some buckets in the crunch.
Born and raised in Compton, so he's straight out and straight back to Compton, right? So we'll do it. I like this trade for Kuzma THT.
No, ain't nobody proposed. They didn't propose that. Why you proposing that?
I'm proposing that. I'm just defending the honor of the Spurs because for me, DeMar DeRozan couldn't quite live up to the star power required to be a solo star.
Oh, really? I mean, come on, Skip.
Well,
most of you guys don't say anything. I mean, if you look at all your...
All right, let me take... Because I've been doing some thinking while watching them talk. And then I'm going to end the video here. Let's take a look at this trade one more time, and let me see how much the Spurs will benefit from it. Now, who do they have at the small forward and power forward positions? Because that's pretty much what Kuzma and Harrell is going to be fighting for if they go. You have Keldon Johnson, who's the power forward. And this is my problem with Keldon Johnson, although he might be a solid player, but this is my problem with Keldon Johnson. He is 6'6". He's a 6'6" power forward. And it's not like he's a stout 6'6" with muscle and it looks like he could bully somebody. He is a very skinny. He's a power forward or a shooting guard size at power forward. It's not really posing much of a test for other power forwards that are taller and stronger with more weight to throw around. What about this small forward position? You have I believe Devin Vassell is the no. It was DeRozan, but without DeRozan, it would be Devin Vassell. Can Kuzma beat out Devin Vassell? Can he? I don't know. I think they might be neck and neck. So I'm asking myself, if I'm the Spurs, do I think that this is a good enough trade to get rid of to let go of DeRozan? Now DeRozan may leave anyway. So if I'm the Spurs and DeRozan's going to leave, DeRozan's not going to stay, I'm probably going to sign and trade and do it. Because I didn't know, first of all, I didn't know Harrell was a part of the package. But now you're talking about Harrell, you're talking about Kuzma and the 22nd pick for a guy that's possibly going to leave anyway. Now I think about it, I think I would take it. What do I have to lose? Because if DeRozan leaves in free agency, I get nothing anyway. At least with this, he goes to the Lakers, he gets a chance to win, and we don't know what we're going to get from Harrell or Kuzma. maybe we could make something out of that 22nd pick. But yeah, if I'm the Spurs, I'm taking it because I didn't realize that DeRozan's contract was up and he was leaving anyway. So now that kind of changes things. I thought he had at least another year there. Now that kind of changes things, and yeah, I'm looking to move him and that's if they are really making this offer. I'm looking to move him. But if I was keeping DeRozan, no, I wouldn't make this deal because although he's not doing enough to get us to the playoffs, he's still a solid attraction. People will still go to watch him play because he can still put up 20, 25 points for you. That's, at a far more frequent pace than Kyle Kuzma or Montrezl Harrell. So, I don't know. That's it, man. I just wanted to give my thoughts on this. I kind of end up flip-flopping at the end because I had to think about it after I found out that dude doesn't have a contract anymore. So, yep.